Welcome to another episode of On the Go. Today I'll be answering your questions about America's most critical transportation needs. There's a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it. Alex starts us off by asking, what's the United States' most critical transportation needs, and where can the next secretary do the most good? Well, Alex, I think that we need to make sure that we keep our roads and rails and our transit systems in a state of good repair. Map 21 helps us really do that over the next couple of years as we implement the new transportation bill known as Map 21. We will have the resources to help the states keep the roadways in a state of good repair, help our transit systems keep transit in a state of good repair. Many of our transit systems are over 50 plus years old and need new cars and need new infrastructure. We know that the interstate system, built over a 50-year period, needs to be kept up in a way that reflects the idea that thousands and thousands of people use the interstate every day and want to make sure that it is in a state of good repair. In terms of what the next secretary's challenges will be, I think really working with Congress on a transportation bill that is paid for and really reflects the idea that we need a multi-year bill, that a 5 or 6 year bill is the way to really address our nation's transportation and infrastructure needs. But I think the big debate for the next secretary and the next Congress and working with Congress will be, how do we pay for all the things that we know we need to do in transportation? Doug on Facebook asks, what is DOT doing to rebuild farm-to-market infrastructure? Well, Doug, we've put a lot of emphasis on what we call rural transportation by making sure that rural America is paid attention to the same way that we've paid attention to other parts of America, whether it's with good transit systems, the ability of people in rural America have good roads, to work with our governors and our stakeholders in rural America to make sure that their roads are in a state of good repair, that they have access to the cities that they are near through good transportation and transit, and really being a part of paying attention to rural America has been one of our priorities, and we work with our friends and colleagues at USDA to make sure that the needs for rural America in terms of good roads and good transit and good transportation are met. On Twitter, Linda asks, what federal resources do non-coastal ports have to offset costs? Well, I'm proud to say, Linda, that we have supported 25 projects with more than $350 million for infrastructure and equipment. I'm proud to say that under our Tiger program, we have funded many ports around America. We developed the plan called the Marine Highway Plan that really looks at our waterways as a way to make sure that we have used every possible means of transportation to deliver goods around America. And we know that our ports are a real economic engine. We know that the inland waterways need a lot of attention. I think Congress will pay attention to the inland waterways through the passage of a WRDA bill, the Water Resource Bill, which really provides the authorization and the funding to make sure that the locks and dams are in a state of good repair. And we will continue to address through our Tiger program the work that we have been doing to make sure that the Marine Highway is used, that the ports are utilized in a way that have not really been addressed in the past. Timothy asks, what's the best way for the public to advocate for high-speed rail? The real answer for passenger rail is for people to use it. And on the Northeast Corridor between Washington and New York, ridership is at an all-time high. Amtrak is making money. And that is the case wherever you provide good service at a cost that people can afford and on-time service, people will use passenger rail. Passenger rail is coming to America like we've never seen because of President Obama's vision, because of this administration, President Obama's administration, in investing over $12 billion over the last 4 years, an investment that hasn't ever been seen in that large an amount ever in the history of the United States. So we're on our way. But people need to utilize rail, and I believe they will continue to do that. Finally, our friend Adam at Politico, who has covered me very extensively over the last 4.5 years, and I would say very fairly too, by the way, asked this question: do you know how many times you said "look it" in your more than 4 years in office? Look it, Adam. I like the term "look it" because it gives me the comfort level to look at answers when I'm trying to answer your questions. And the short answer is look it. I don't know how many times I have said look it when answering your look it questions that you have asked me during the time that you've covered me. But look it. I look forward to many more opportunities to answer your questions by starting out with look it. Look it. This is not the last on the go opportunity for all of those of you who have asked me questions. And I hope that you will continue to send your questions in, and we will look forward to looking at your questions as we begin answering them with look it. Thank you for writing in. We look forward to more opportunities. I appreciate the opportunity to hear from you, and I always enjoy answering your look it transportation questions.